I was going through this scenario, a what if, what would I do? Have I still got it? Like, do you know what I mean? Stupid bloke stuff. And then as I was sort of thinking it, higher me kicked in and was just like, shut up. You know what I mean? Like, don't be so stupid. You're past all that shit. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to do none of that no more. Like, so I was having a little chuckle to myself, and I got the Kybalion. So I just opened it, and it was at page 77. Straight away, my eyes were drawn to this passage. Right? It seemed quite perfect, you could say. So it says, all individuals who have attained any degree of self-mastery accomplish this more or less unknowingly. True. And by refusing to allow their moods and negative mental states to affect them, they apply the law of neutralization. The master, however, carries this to a much higher degree of proficiency, and by the use of his will he attains a degree of poise and mental firmness almost impossible of belief on the part of those who allow themselves to be swung backwards and forwards by the mental pendulum of moods and feelings. The importance of this will be appreciated by any thinking person who realizes what creatures of moods, feelings and emotions the majority of people are, and how little mastery of themselves they manifest. If you will stop to consider for a moment, you will realize how much these swings of rhythm have affected you in your life. Oh yes. How a period of enthusiasm has been invariably followed by an opposite feeling and mood of depression. You're always sorry after, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? God, it's crazy. Well, dependent on what you've done. Anyway, I would push things to be the worst that they could be. Just stupid, childish games. Anyway, likewise, your moods and periods of courage have been succeeded by equal moods of fear. And so it has ever been with the majority of persons. Tides of feelings have ever risen and fallen with them, but they have never suspected the cause or reason for the mental phenomenon. Phenomena. Yeah. An understanding of the workings of this principle will give one the key to the mastery of these rhythmic swings of feeling, and will enable him to know himself better and to avoid being carried away by these inflows and outflows. So I guess it's one of the 7, isn't it? The Hermetic principles is rhythm. Think of it exactly like a pendulum, or a pendulum. That's what they said, and it's perfect, really. As you bring it back, call it anger, before you let it go, and then you snap, and then you swing. Whether it's physical or verbal, you let a release, and that release goes, and it might find its target, and it might do some damage. But I guess what it's saying is, then the pendulum, once it's exceeded its sort of trajectory, it has to come back. It has to. It's a natural law of all things. It's rhythm, So that's when I guess it's saying, well, it is saying. Then you're like, oh fuck, what did I do? Are they all right? Why did I say that? Why did I do this? The feelings of regret, being remorseful, So where do we get to? Yeah. The will is superior to the conscious manifestation of this principle. Although the principle itself can never be destroyed, we may escape its efforts, but the principle operates nevertheless. The pendulum ever swings, although we may escape being carried along with it. Yeah. And it talks about the meanings of to compensate and to counterbalance, which I guess is to bring to the center. Once we are in line, in the center, nothing really bothers you anymore. Someone picks a fight, man, whatever, crack on. Unless someone physically, I think you're quite entitled in my book. I'm pretty old school, it would seem. So I used to be all about an eye for an eye. You hurt me, I'll hurt you better, do you know what I mean? But I suppose that is an old way of thinking and has no place in what's going on, and I should practice what I preach. So, yeah, I guess unless someone physically, I still say you're entitled to, do you know what I mean? Like, you're entitled to do whatever. If you've got to defend yourself, you've got to defend yourself. And I don't care where it comes from, to be honest, and who's doing it. An attack is an attack. So these days I let Big G take care of these things for me before they manifest in a way that I'd have to do it myself, I guess. But anyway, I thought that was quite funny as I was having one of those silly past thoughts. What if moment? Who cares? It isn't. So live in the now, innit? Do you know what I mean? Again, gotta practice what I preach. But it's interesting that this comes out. It's interesting for me when you think you're over certain things, and then certain little things come back and trigger you, such as this period that we're moving through. The old into the new, the old ways of thinking, the old ways of being, all those old systems are gradually being taken down and replaced by something better, more advanced. And I don't mean like technology, having implants in your body and all of what people are talking about, you know what I mean? Like, certain people seem like hypocrites. They say one thing and do something to encourage the thing that they said would be the worst thing to happen on the planet. Do you know what I mean? So where's the logic there? Unless it's just merely about money, the dollar, and wanting to be involved rather than not, because the ego says I should, so I will. But your will has to be stronger than these feelings, I guess you could say. It's all about being strong, isn't it, and having integrity, you know? Being noble, as Odin says. Be noble. 23rd room. Yeah, man. So, anyway, I thought that was quite interesting.